Aerial photography. There's something unique about seeing a photo taken from the air. That's because it's a view which you don't normally get to see, unless you go up in a plane. Now traditionally, it used to be that the only way of getting good quality aerial pictures was to take a camera with you, up in a plane or helicopter. For many years, this was the only reliable way to get good quality aerial photos. Then, back in the 20th century, the market for radio-controlled model aeroplanes developed, and owners of these models began to experiment with attaching a camera to their model aircraft. This provided a means of being able to acquire aerial images at a lower cost than having to pay for a proper aircraft flight. However, the ability of these radio-controlled model planes to achieve decent photos was very limited, due to lack of fine control. You see, the operator of the radio-controlled model often had to estimate at what angle the camera was positioned when taking the photo, because in those days, technology was more limited. The result was that this method of taking pictures was not guaranteed to produce good results. In fact, it was unlikely that taking pictures this way could compete with physically having a photographer go up in a full-sized plane. Then, in the 21st century, along came the drone, or quadcopter. This was a major step forward in being able to accurately control a camera, using a gimbal to provide more stability and control. In recent years, these drones have improved significantly in their performance to the point where they can produce acceptably good images. So, there is no doubt that, to some extent at least, drones have taken a major portion of the market share in the field of aerial photography. In spite of this, there are still many organizations which definitely prefer to operate using a light aircraft, or even a helicopter, for doing aerial photography. Why is this? Well, in order to understand the answer to that, we first have to look at the disadvantages of using drones. Firstly, drones are only as good as the operator. More and more people have purchased drones, as the price has become more affordable in recent years. However, many of these new drone operators do not have a complete knowledge of photography, and so may not get the best out of the equipment. Secondly, the cameras attached to these drones are, generally, far more limited in operation than, say, a professional digital SLR camera that the professionals use. A professional photographer, using a digital SLR camera, has much better control over things like aperture, shutter speed, and being able to judge the best orientation for taking the picture. Drone cameras, typically, have very small lenses, which are usually extreme wide angle, and may distort the image. Thirdly, drones have a limited range and battery life. While it's true that a few drones now have a range of more than a mile, none of them seem able to stay up in the air for more than about 20 to 30 minutes, maximum. While this may be adequate for some applications, it is simply not good enough for anyone doing extensive aerial surveying or serious aerial photography requiring more time up in the sky. Imagine a photographer who is taking 100 or more aerial pictures while traveling to several locations. It simply would not be practical to attempt using a drone. Lastly, for safety reasons, there are restrictions in place which limit the feasibility of using drones at certain locations. These restrictions are not the same as the ones which apply to light aircraft, which tend to fly at higher altitudes. So it means that, on many occasions, drones are not permitted for use. So, considering all of these factors, it's not surprising that many serious aerial photography organizations are still using planes or helicopters to achieve the results they need. On top of that, many pilots, who are also photographers, continue to want to fly planes simply for personal enjoyment, which means they will continue to take aerial pictures the traditional way, from a plane. So, for the time being, it's likely that both of these methods of aerial photography, whether using a drone or using a full-size manned aircraft, will continue to be used, depending on the specific purpose for which it is needed. Drones may be ideal for use when the job is fairly straightforward and the drone operator can maintain accurate control, with no obstacles or hazards in the area, but for more serious applications, requiring long distances or high-volume work, a light aircraft or a helicopter is probably the only logical solution. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please like and subscribe. Goodbye for now.